Well, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very interesting video today regarding marriage and horoscope compatibility, because I know how many of you are so desperately waiting for this video, especially for all those single young boys out there who are dreaming about their dream girl when they're sleeping.
मेरे सपनों की रानी कब आएगी तू, आई रुत मस्तानी कब आएगी तू, बीती जाए जिंदगानी कब आएगी तू, चलिया आ तू चलिया, चलिया आ तू चलिया, प्यार की गलियां बागों की कलियां सब रंग रलियां पूछ रही है ये तू पनघट पे किस दिन गाएगी तू.
Yeah, so this video is regarding your dream girl and your dream man, you know, whichever way you want to look at it. But this video is going to tackle that. And this video is going to tackle the subject of compatibility in the most easiest way possible. You'll be like, oh my God, this is walking apart. And this actually works. Why does this work? Because I tried it on myself. I am married to a beautiful, intelligent woman. And whatever I predicted for myself after marrying her is exactly what has come true. Everything that you will see in this video, that's how I judged my things. And based on this method, I was able to see how my life will be changing with this person. Okay, so we're going to be discussing that. And as always, if you do not know, you know what your horoscope is, what your ascendant is, what your planetary placements are. For that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, which you will get my free astrological books with, including option 6 for people who do not even know where their planets are placed. So when they do this compatibility thing, they'll know exactly where their planetary placements are. And one of the easiest thing you can do right now before watching this video is actually going to the very first video on my channel. In the very first playlist is how to read a birth chart. This is the easiest way to read a birth chart. I have made a 5-minute video, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes of your time will literally change your perspective on astrology. It'll show you how to exactly read a chart, where planets are placed, what are houses and signs, what is rising sign, your ascendant. You know, why is it that this is placed in this house? And once you know it, you'll be like, oh my God, give me more charts. I'm going to read more charts. So that's what this is about. And one more thing that I want to address is that this is not the full method of seeing compatibility with someone. This is not the method where you will say yes and no to the person. As much as my video banner said yes and no, yes or no, it was being sarcastic because this is just the first layer. But it's the most important layer. At the same time, it's a first layer. There are many layers to give you a final answer of whether you should marry this person or not. And the thing is, no marriage is ever perfect. No relationship is ever perfect. You have to understand that. There's a huge misconception with people when they look for astrological compatibility, especially in Vedic astrology. They're like, oh my God, this astrologer said yes. That means I must have the best compatibility in the world because, hey, astrologically, if it's perfect, it'll be perfect, which is absolutely wrong. Because if there's a planet that's bringing a good thing in there, it's also bringing a con and a negative thing there. This is why no marriage is perfect. Every marriage will have its good and bad no matter how you look at it. So never judge what I'm teaching you here as yes or no scenario. Because I can tell you this, a lot of people, I know who you are watching this, okay? I know exactly, I've seen all of you who always ask me, I have Jupiter in the sign of Virgo in the 6th house. Is it good or bad? Please don't ask me those nonsensical questions. There's no such thing as good or bad with one planetary placement. I can show you people, Jupiter in the ascendant in the sign of Cancer had a really bad time period in Jupiter. I can show you people with debilitated Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus who went through their Mahadasha, and yet it was surprisingly the best Mahadasha that they had. So there's no such thing as good or bad with any sign placement of planet. The planet simply expresses himself through the house and sign. So forget that. So when I'm teaching you this today on this method, don't try to say, oh yes, I debilitated this and exalted that. It does make a difference, but there's a lot more to it. There's a pro and a con with exalted and debilitated planets. Okay, so let's just now go to the chart and start looking at the boys and girls chart. All right, so as we see in the girls chart, she was born with a Virgo ascendant. Okay, and girl being born with a Virgo ascendant has Saturn in the first house in Virgo, Moon Mercury in the second house in Libra, Venus in third house in Scorpio, Sun Rahu in fourth house in Sagittarius, Mars in fifth house in Capricorn, Ketu in 10th house in Gemini, Jupiter in 11th house in Cancer. Now let's go over boys' planetary placements. The boy is born with a Libra ascendant. He has Jupiter, Rahu in the fourth house in the sign of Capricorn. He has Saturn in the sign of Pisces. He has Venus, Sun and Mercury in the 8th house in the sign of Taurus, Mars in the 9th house in the sign of Gemini, Ketu in the 10th house in the sign of Cancer, Moon in the 11th house in the sign of Leo. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to see and do our superimposing of the charts. We're going to see what the girl's placement, since with the boy, we're taking the boy who wants to look at a girl's chart and see what the girl is bringing into his life. So now we're going to just superimpose that. So let's try to do that now. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to superimpose the girl's Venus. Her Venus is in the sign of Scorpio in the third house. We're going to try to superimpose that on the boy's chart. So once he gets married to this girl, her Venus in the third house will now be sitting in the boy's second house because his Scorpio is in the second house. So we bring her Venus onto the second house. So now what is happening? Well, for this boy, when he marries this girl, the wife will bring in a lot of hidden treasure into his marriage. The girl will bring a lot of sexual activity into the family scenario. She will bring a lot of culture, a lot of artistic talent within the family. The girl, and if you look at the boy's, Venus is on the 8th house. And her Venus, if it comes into his second house, they now both mutually aspect each other. So what will happen now after marriage, this person will very much be involved with all things related to culture, family lineage, art. There'll be a lot of sexual activities. So the boy should be happy because the girl is bringing that lot of hidden love, romance, a lot of that passion within with the family of his. Okay, the girl will also increase his wealth suddenly because now because in the boy's chart, Venus is controlling his ascendant in the 8th house. When it comes into the second house, what it shows now, suddenly he's going to get sudden burst of income, sudden windfall of income. Hidden treasures will be found with the wife. Okay, but on a negative contrary part, you can say is that the girl may actually be a bit jealous of the boy's family. Maybe a bit jealous about, what his siblings are doing, how she is compared to the siblings and the sister, which is a normal marriage. Even a husband tries to compare to the wife's brother. Ooh, I can beat him. I can do this. I can beat him in finance. So normal stuff. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to superimpose the girl's Jupiter upon the boy's chart. So when we bring girl's Jupiter Cancer into boy's Cancer sign, Jupiter is now sitting in the 10th house of the boy. It's exalted. Okay, obviously we do not know the degrees, which is the advanced or semi-advanced layer, which I'm not going to go into. This is the most basic and the easiest way to look at what is the basic premise of this marriage going to be. So when her Jupiter goes into his 10th house, before the Jupiter came in, before marriage, this boy must have been struggling with authorities, must have been struggling in career. He would probably get insulted in career with this kind of a chart. Like his co-workers do not respect him as much. But as soon as he married this girl, her Jupiter came into his 10th house. Now his reputation at workplace, reputation in society, okay, in his community is now suddenly enhanced. Suddenly people will start respecting this guy. He will start to get more advancement in careers. The ups and downs in careers, since he was experiencing down, is now suddenly gonna go up. His respect will go up. With the respect, his promotion will go up. And that's what 10th house is. 10th house is ups and downs in career, your reputation, your image into the world. So instead of Ketu, a very awkward, image with a debilitated Jupiter in the 4th house, also looking at the 10th house, now the girl's Jupiter is enhancing his image. His career image is now being enhanced. So, hey, that's a big positive plus. Also, his career, now that his Jupiter is conjoined, and her Jupiter is conjoined his Ketu in the 10th house, his work will now become his spiritual practice. He will be so happy what he's now doing at work, or he will suddenly find a different type of career where it'll spiritually become his duty to do that work. Okay? So now let's try to superimpose another planet. Let's superimpose the girl's Saturn, which is in her ascendant, into boy's 12th house, because his Virgo is in the 12th house. So we'll bring girl's Virgo Saturn into his 12th house. What this shows is that after marriage, he'll be more about responsibility of the home and homeland and staying within the home than trying to travel out at other places. Of course, he'll be traveling. But Saturn here, what it's doing is that it is restricting more of the foreign travel and bringing duty towards the foreign travel, bringing work towards the foreign travel. So foreign travel will happen, okay? But now foreign travel will no longer be about fun and games as much. He may actually get a foreign opportunity to go into foreign lands and work, because Saturn is work. Saturn is the physical work you do. He will start to dedicate himself spiritually to monasteries, temples, spiritual work, donations. And the most important positive thing with this girl's Saturn coming into the 12th house is that this girl is going to try to control this boy's expenses. She's going to try to say, hey, where are you spending your money? Why are you wasting your money here? His expenses will suddenly be less. And he will be able to save more money. Why? Because Saturn from the 12th house now is now going to aspect the 2nd house after marriage, because her Saturn is now coming into his 12th house. So besides, instead of now having the boy waste all the money out there, he'll save the money. Instead of going out there and partying in foreign lands, he will actually now go and work in foreign lands. He will suddenly become mature about his spiritual beliefs, about his, psychological beliefs of the other side. So again, positive, negative, positive, negative. There's never a full positive or a full negative with any position. Okay? Let's do one more. Let's bring in with the girl's Moon and Mercury into boy's chart. Her Moon and Mercury are in the 2nd house in Libra. His is a Libra ascendant. So when we bring Moon and Mercury into his ascendant, after marriage, what will happen is that this person will become very diplomatic. He will become very communicative. His business senses will rise now, because mind and intelligence and his business sense, which is Mercury, are now in his ascendant. His personality will start to see, okay, how do I create more relationships to enhance my life, enhance my business? Because now Mercury and Moon are both going to be looking at the 7th house of business. And Mercury is a very business-minded planet. And especially when Mercury is in the ascendant for Libra ascendant, it shows one will get a lot of foreign opportunity to do business. So her Saturn is on his 12th house, work in foreign lands, a lot of work towards the foreign lands. The 12th Lord, okay, for him is now in the ascendant. Because the girl's Mercury, the 2nd Lord, the 2nd planetary placement where Mercury was in Libra with Moon, is now in the ascendant. So because it's in the ascendant, he's going to get a lot of foreign business opportunities. He's going to become very diplomatic, very business savvy. His mind will actually now start to feel more creative. So just by superimposing these 3-4 planetary placements, we can see what the girl is bringing in onto the table for the boy. Okay, let's do one more. Should we do Mars or Sun or Rahu? Her Ketu is in 3rd. Okay, so let's bring the girl's Mars and superimpose it on the boy's chart. Her Mars is exalted, so it comes into the 4th house where Jupiter is debilitated. What this is going to do, okay, exalted Mars in his 4th house. This girl is bringing, first of all, a lot of opportunity to have real estate in his life, conveniences in his life. He will suddenly find himself buying a new house and a bigger house. Why? Because Mars is now sitting with Jupiter in his horoscope. Jupiter is about expansion. Exalted Mars is now helping Jupiter expand in a positive way. So real estate. Now, on the contrary, what is this Mars doing? This Mars is probably going to bring a lot of power struggles with the mother. Perhaps the wife says, hey, I think we should get a separate house. They get a separate house, mother's not happy. My poor boy left me. So now there's a little bit of tension between the wife and the boy. The mother and the boy, or the mother and the wife. And there's just like this really sense of, hey, this is what we got to do. This is what we have to do. I don't care if your mother likes it or not. And who doesn't have these kind of scenarios, okay? But because his Jupiter is there, Jupiter is also activated. So it's not going to be as bad. Mom will be like, well, I'm not really agreeing with it, but whatever, go get your house, go live separately. So this is how you think. This is how you start to think about good and bad planets. When you start to superimpose and look at different things, you'll be able to understand what this woman is bringing in my life. And the reason why I say this is because I superimposed my wife's chart over mine, and it has, from the day when I met her, it has worked to the T. I'm not going to tell you what worked, what didn't, but it's not like I have looked at other charts and not know anything about myself. No, this is not just from the other chart, but forget the other charts. I also looked into my own, and it was right there in front of me. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. How my personality changed, my thinking pattern changed, some of the belief system changed, and boom. So this is what you do when you do compatibility. If the girl wants to see this, the girl can superimpose these planets on hers. And we are going to go all into the details of this. Okay? Especially when a book comes out, we'll do all the planets going into all the different scenarios for the girl and boy. Okay? And we'll do more videos on this. But this is just a start, just a basic scenario of what will happen when you superimpose things on each other. Okay? So guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your horoscope is and your partner's horoscope, for all the horoscopes for that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological reports with my free books attached. Otherwise, we'll see you later on Monday. Bye-bye.